what is next? A recession or a soft landing? The Fed isn't seeing a recession coming, but oil markets seem to be pricing one in, as we just said. Joining me now is Art Laffer, former Reagan economist, Presidential Medal of Freedom recipient, and author of Taxes Have Consequences, a great book and a great advisor for many, many years in my life. Art, great to see you again. Thank you for being here. So what do you think is going to happen?
Lovely seeing you, David. Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate it. You look at the markets, and you and I have talked about it. It's always a good day when the markets perform well, and we've had a lot of good days recently. So clearly stock traders aren't pricing into recession, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't know if they haven't already priced it in and now they're looking for the recovery. You know, you see oil prices coming down pretty much, by the way. That's a clear sign of a slowing of the world economy. And there are other things as well. Interest rates have come down a little bit. The inflation rate was a little less. All of those could be harbingers of the recovery coming sometime in the near future. I'm not able to time it well, but I think the U.S. is doing pretty well given what we have right now.
Now, so much involves inflation, and whether or not we have, like that the president is saying we have.
Yes.
Jeremy Siegel, another whiz, like not as good as you. I wouldn't put him in the same category, but he's pretty good on markets.
He was a colleague of mine at Chicago.
Well, there you go. Chicago is a good rep for him. But he said that he thinks inflation is whipped. That's not what we're hearing from all the members of the Fed. I want to play for you a soundbite from the Fed president from Richmond, Virginia, what he said earlier today on that. Roll tape.
I can just tell you what I think, which is I see inflation being stubborner, and that makes the case for me for being higher for longer. But other participants in the market have different forecasts.
It does seem, Art, does it not, like inflation is kind of stubborn?
Yeah, it is stubborn. On the way down, I mean, they haven't done anything that would get rid of inflation. Let me just say that. There's no soundness of the currency. There's no Volckerisms in this. None of the good Fed policies that would stop inflation are in place, nor are they contemplated. But what you have seen in the latest numbers, the wholesale price index was actually a drop. Deflation, just a little bit, and then you had the consumer prices were down, core was pretty good. So these recent numbers, and if you look back 12 months, so you're looking at the headline number, there's no reason to expect those numbers to jump up anytime soon. I mean, there's just no reason to believe that. So I think we're in a lull in inflation, but I don't think inflation is under control. In a year, 2 years, 3 years from now with this Fed, we'll have inflation again. We'll have another bout of it.
And we do still have another positive, by the way, is we still have basically the Trump tax system in place. I know it's going to sunset in 25 unless there are changes. But we have that. That's keeping part of the economy going strong. However, our old friend Bob Bartley, the former editor of the Wall Street Journal, used to say one of the worst kind of taxes is regulations. We have all kinds of new regulations with the Biden administration. That's not subject to the oversight. Most of it isn't subject to the oversight of Congress. Some of it is, but they've gotten away with a lot. That is a big tax on business, isn't it?
It surely is. It's a huge tax on business, especially energy regulation. I mean, that's been an enormous tax on business. We should be producing a lot more oil than we do right now. We're the cleanest producers. We have the best production of all. Why we would let it go to Venezuela and these other countries, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. But that regulatory policies, they've ruined it. I mean, seriously ruined the industry there. There are a lot of other regulatory policies that are being put into place that are also doing a lot of damage. So you're completely right. And Bob Bartley was always right, David. I mean, he was the most wonderful person in the world. But right now, I mean, those regulations are causing a lot of burden on the U.S. economy, and they will for a long time to come.
Finally, I want to turn to one of the bright spots. I talked a little bit about it with Charlie Hurd.
Sir.
That's what's happening in Argentina, which I know is far away. Most people kind of zone out when you mention Argentina, although it's a beautiful place. Everybody should go there. But they did have an experiment a few years back that you and I followed very closely, me from the Journal, you as an independent economist, on how to sort of dollarize. They didn't exactly dollarize the economy, but they were interested in getting rid of hyperinflation, and they did get rid of hyperinflation. They essentially had kind of a currency board in place instead of a central bank, and it worked. And the new president wants to go back to that level. Now, he's been called a quack because of his antics. He has a lot of antics on stage. A lot of you read Reuters or AP or all the news sites, and they say that the guy's a crazy man. But he's not. He seems to know what he's doing, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. The currency board worked beautifully. Inflation stopped in Argentina. I was down there a number of times, by the way, David, with Menem and Roque Fernandez and Pedro Poe and Domingo Cavallo. They were all students of mine. Carlos Rodriguez. I mean, it was an amazing time in Argentinian history where we had growth like mad in Argentina, stable prices. I mean, the economy flourished as never before. They then went back again with the Peronistas. I remember one time being down there with Menem, and a famous actress came and visited, and I got shortchanged because he escorted her around for the whole day, and it was fun. Menem was the only leader in the world, actually a lot shorter than I am, but what a dandy little fella, and it really worked. And this guy Javier Milei, is going to do the same thing. He is not a kook. He's not a far right winger. He does antics, so what? He's a Chicago economist who believes in sound money, free trade, minimal regulations, low-rate, broad-based flat tax. I mean, he believes in all the good policies, government spending restraint. This is a time, if you've ever made a bet, I'm going to make a bet right here today on TV that Argentina will become the outstanding pro-growth economy of Central and South America in the next 5 years. This guy's going to do wonders in Argentina, and it's going to be fantastic.
It's all about policy, and
personality.
It worked before. I mean, we know it worked before. It worked for about 6 years until they messed it up again. But the point is a lot of countries in Latin America are looking for alternatives because the socialism they've been flirting with almost all over the continent hasn't worked, and they're going in the doghouse. All these economies, this guy might turn that around.
Especially Chile. Well, especially Chile has gone into the doghouse. Chile has reversed all of its stuff. It was the highest performer in all of Central and South America for 30-plus years. I mean, if you look at the plot of the growth rates there, and then you see Chile's just way, way, way above it. It's just amazing what Chile did. In the last 3 years, 4 years, they've reversed policies and now are destroying their prosperity before our very eyes. And this guy's going to take Argentina and replace Chile with the pro-growth agenda. And plus, he's sort of a cool guy, if I've seen him correctly.
He's a lot of fun.
Got a real personality.
He's a lot of fun. Well, Art Laffer's betting on Argentina.
Like a lot of fun. I hope I want to go down.
All right. We'll see you soon, Art. I hope to see you in Argentina. It'd be nice to meet you.
Thank you, David. Thank you very much.